The anesthesia was still wearing off when my phone buzzed. Through blurry vision, I read my cousin Lisa's text. Enjoy your empty house. Everything's already sold on Facebook. Maybe next time you'll learn to share with family. I blinked hard trying to focus. 3 hours ago, I'd gone under for emergency appendix surgery. Now lying in the recovery room, my entire world was about to change. Another text from Lisa. The live sale was a huge success. Mom's so proud of how we handled your hoarding problem. Attached was a link to a Facebook Live video. My hands trembled as I clicked it. Hey everyone, welcome to the Marcus family clean-out sale. Lisa's voice was cheerful as she panned her phone around my living room. My Aunt Margaret stood beside her waving to the camera. Everything must go. Our cousin Daniel's been holding on to way too much stuff, so we're helping him declutter while he's unavailable. The timestamp showed this was streaming right now. I watched in horror as my Uncle George carried my grandfather's antique desk toward the front door. That desk was worth over $50,000. I'd had it professionally appraised last year. Only $200 for this old desk. Lisa announced. It's just taking up space, and Daniel never even uses it. The comments section exploded with interested buyers. My chest tightened as I watched people claiming my possessions for pennies on the dollar. Look at all these fancy suits, my Aunt Margaret said, opening my closet. Daniel's so selfish keeping all these when his brother Mark could use them for job interviews. She started pulling out my custom-tailored suits, each worth thousands, and tossing them into bags. I forced myself to keep watching, documenting everything. The vintage wine collection my late father left me. My mother's jewelry. The rare book collection I'd spent 15 years building. The prototype designs for my new security system, worth millions to the right buyer. My hands shook as I pressed the emergency call button. When the nurse arrived, I managed to speak clearly despite my dry throat. I need to make an urgent call to the FBI. Now. She looked startled, but something in my expression must have convinced her. 10 minutes later, Special Agent Sarah Torres walked into my hospital room. Mr. Marcus, she said, taking in my hospital gown and IV drip. We've been monitoring your family for 6 months, but we didn't expect them to move this quickly. Are you watching the stream? I nodded, turning my phone so she could see. They're selling everything I own in a Facebook Live sale. But they don't know about the cameras. Agent Torres smiled grimly. The hidden security system you developed. The one they're trying to steal. Every room is recorded. Every item is tagged. And they have no idea. I watched as Lisa gleefully sold my mother's diamond necklace for $50. I've been gathering evidence since they started embezzling from the family business last year. And now they've added grand theft and interstate wire fraud to the list. Agent Torres pulled out her phone. Keep watching. Document everything. My team is moving into position. The live stream continued. My cousin Mark appeared, dragging my safe from the office. Hey followers. Who wants to see what's inside? We've got the combination. I almost smiled. They thought they were so clever, but they just broadcasted their crime to hundreds of witnesses. Found his external hard drives. Lisa called out. The ones he's so secretive about. Probably full of boring work stuff. But maybe there's something good we can sell. Agent Torres straightened. Those drives contained more than work files. They held all the evidence of my family's criminal activities over the past year. The embezzlement. The fraud. The insider trading. Everything I'd been quietly documenting while playing the role of the naive, trusting cousin. Daniel always thought he was better than us. Lisa told her audience as she waved my father's watch at the camera. Living in this big house, acting all successful. But family shares with family, right? I thought back to last Thanksgiving, when they'd first floated the idea of me sharing my inheritance. How they'd grown increasingly hostile when I refused to give them control of the family company. The whispered conversations that stopped when I entered rooms. The missing documents from my office. 50,000 in viewer count now. Agent Torres noted. Your family's going to be famous. Just not the way they planned. My phone buzzed with a text from my aunt. This is what you get for not helping family. Should have given us the company when we asked nicely. I caught a glimpse of my uncle removing paintings from the walls, including the one hiding my wall safe. The real one, not the decoy they'd already opened. Inside was everything they actually wanted. The patents for my security system, the offshore account numbers, and a detailed record of every illegal transaction they'd tried to hide. They're getting close to the safe, I told Agent Torres. The real one, she nodded. Teams are in position, front and back doors covered. We've got cars following the trucks with your belongings, just waiting for them to cross state lines with the stolen goods. Lisa's voice drew my attention back to the stream. Someone's asking if this is legal. Of course it is. We're his family. We have every right to share his things. He's probably not even watching, too busy feeling important at work. If they'd bothered to check, they'd have known about my surgery. But they'd been too excited about their opportunity, thinking I'd be trapped in meetings all day. Almost at 60,000 viewers. Lisa bragged. This is better than that time we sold Grandma's house without telling Daniel. Remember how mad he got? Agent Torres raised an eyebrow, adding that to the list. I watched as my uncle approached the hidden safe, tool bag in hand, found another one behind this ugly painting. Daniel always was bad at hiding things. The live stream chat exploded with excitement, viewers eager to see what treasures they'd find next. Should we stop them before they open it? I asked. Agent Torres shook her head. Let them incriminate themselves fully. We've got everything we need, but a few more minutes of evidence won't hurt. My uncle worked on the safe while Lisa provided commentary. Daniel thinks he's so smart with his fancy security patents, always talking about protecting assets and securing data. But he couldn't even secure his own house. If they only knew about the military-grade security system recording their every move, the GPS trackers in every valuable item, the silent alarms that had been triggering for hours. Got it. My uncle shouted. Let's see what Mr. Success is hiding. The safe door swung open. Lisa pushed forward with her phone, giving viewers a clear view of the contents. Oh my God, she breathed. Are these what I think they are? She pulled out the first file, labeled Family Criminal Enterprise, Evidence. Below it sat files, marked embezzlement records and fraudulent transactions. Turn it off, my aunt suddenly shouted. Stop the stream. But Lisa's manicured hands were shaking too badly to work her phone. The camera kept rolling, as they pulled out file after file, each one documenting their crimes in meticulous detail. 65,000 people just watched your family find evidence of their own crimes, Agent Torres said. I'd say that's enough. She stepped into the hallway, speaking quietly into her radio. Within seconds, my phone lit up with new texts. Police are here. Who called FBI? What did you do? I watched through the hidden cameras as FBI agents entered my house, catching my family literally red-handed with the evidence of their own crimes. Mr. Marcus, Agent Torres said, we'll need your statement, but it can wait until you're released. Your belongings will be recovered and returned. In the meantime, would you like to watch the arrests? I adjusted my hospital bed to sit up straighter. Actually, I have a better idea. Pulling up my phone, I started my own live stream. Hi everyone, I'm Daniel Marcus, the cousin whose house you just watched being robbed. And I have quite a story to tell you. 5 million views in 3 hours, Agent Torres said, showing me her phone screen. My counter live stream had gone viral, with people sharing clips of my family's Facebook sale, alongside footage of their arrests. I was finally being discharged from the hospital. My incisions still tender as I signed the release papers. Any word on the recovery of my belongings? Teams have intercepted 4 moving trucks headed to different states. Your cousin Lisa was apparently planning to fence the valuable items through various online marketplaces. She helped me into the wheelchair hospital policy required. We've also frozen all associated bank accounts. The money from their sales is being held as evidence. My phone hadn't stopped buzzing since the arrests. Messages from distant relatives, choosing sides, buyers demanding refunds, and reporters seeking interviews. But one message caught my eye. From my youngest cousin Tommy, Lisa's brother, Daniel. I had no idea what they were planning. I saved what I could. Attached was a photo of my father's study, the one room that still had most of its contents. Tommy had always been different from the rest of them. While they saw me as a resource to be exploited, he'd actually asked to learn from me, showing genuine interest in cybersecurity and business. Take me to the house first, I told Agent Torres. I need to see what's left. The drive was silent. Police tape still crossed my front door, but Agent Torres had the authority to let us in. The emptiness hit me like a physical force. Bare walls where family photos had hung. Rectangular dust outlines where furniture had stood for years. Empty bookshelves that had once held first editions. But there in my father's study, Tommy had created an island of preservation. The leather chair where Dad used to read to me, his collection of vintage fountain pens, the small oil painting of our first family home. I knew something was wrong. Tommy said quietly from the doorway. I hadn't even heard him arrive. When Lisa started organizing everyone last month, talking about teaching you a lesson, I copied all the security footage to a separate server, then documenting everything. Agent Torres looked at him with new interest. We'll need that footage. Tommy nodded. Already sent it to your office. Daniel taught me about maintaining digital evidence chains. He turned to me. I'm so sorry. I should have warned you. You did the right thing by gathering evidence, I said. But now I need your help with something else. I pulled out my phone, showing him the trending social media response to our family drama. #Marcus family theft was trending nationwide. Someone had already created a subreddit dedicated to analyzing every minute of Lisa's live stream. They thought they could humiliate me by broadcasting their theft, I said. Instead, they gave me the perfect platform for what comes next. Tommy's eyes widened as I explained my plan. He'd been the only one who knew about my new venture, a cybersecurity platform that would revolutionize how families protect their assets. The same system that had just caught our relatives in the act. The product launch was scheduled for next month, I told Agent Torres. But sometimes the best marketing is unplanned. My phone buzzed with an incoming call. The CEO of the nation's largest home security company. They'd been trying to buy my patents for months. Now they were offering triple their original price, wanting to distance themselves from their previous partnership with my uncle's failing security firm. Your family's actions have created quite an opportunity, Agent Torres observed. Though I doubt that was their intention. I thought about the years of subtle manipulation, the guilt trips about my success, the constant demands for loans and investments in their schemes, all while they plotted to steal everything I'd built. They wanted to go viral, I said, to shame me publicly for not sharing my wealth. Instead, they showed millions of people exactly why my security system is necessary. Tommy was scrolling through social media on his laptop. The memes are insane. Someone set Lisa's sales pitch for your grandfather's desk to dramatic music. It's gotten 10 million views. Speaking of Lisa, Agent Torres checked her messages. She's demanding to speak with you. Says there's been a misunderstanding, and she can explain everything. I looked around my father's study, the one room my family hadn't managed to strip bare, thanks to Tommy. On the desk sat a framed photo from my company's launch day. Dad had been so proud, telling everyone his son was going to change the world. Schedule the interview, I told Agent Torres. But not just with me. I want to go on national television. Let Lisa explain to everyone why she thought it was okay to rob her cousin during emergency surgery. Tommy's fingers flew across his keyboard. Major networks are already bidding for the exclusive. This could be bigger than we planned. I picked up one of my father's fountain pens, the one he'd used to sign my first business loan. They wanted to tear down everything I built. Instead, they're going to help me build something even bigger. My phone chimed with a news alert. Tech CEO's family arrested after viral theft attempt. Exclusive interview tomorrow. Ready for what comes next? Tommy asked. I thought about the evidence safely stored away. The patent's now worth billions. The security system that would protect other families from what mine had tried to do. They thought emptying my house would be the end of my story, I said. They didn't realize it's just the beginning. Agent Torres smiled. Shall we show them what a real family business looks like? Tommy opened his laptop, pulling up the pre-prepared launch materials for my security company. The marketing team says we can be ready for full release in 48 hours. The viral attention actually solved our awareness problem. I nodded, feeling the weight of my father's pen in my hand. Then let's give the internet something new to talk about. Tomorrow I would face my family on national television. Let them try to explain their actions to millions of viewers. Let them watch as their attempt to destroy me became the foundation of something even greater. But tonight, in my father's preserved study, I had work to do, a company to launch, a legacy to build, and this time everyone would be watching. The television studio lights felt warm as the makeup artist made final touches. Across the stage, Lisa sat with our Aunt Margaret and Uncle George, all three dressed in coordinated pastels like some twisted family portrait. Their lawyer kept whispering urgently in their ears. 2 minutes to air, the producer announced. Mr. Marcus, are you sure you want to do this live? We can pre-record. I adjusted my father's watch, one of the few pieces Tommy had managed to save. Live is perfect, let's make sure nothing gets edited out. The nation's highest-rated morning show had won the bidding war for this exclusive. Their usual cheerful set had been transformed into a more serious backdrop for what they were calling the family heist that broke the internet. Tommy sat in the front row of the audience, laptop ready. Agent Torres stood quietly in the wings, watching everything. 3, 2, 1, we're live. Good morning, America, the host began. By now many of you have seen the viral video of what appeared to be a family yard sale gone wrong. Today we have all parties here to tell their side of this shocking story. The screens behind us played clips from Lisa's live stream, now interspersed with security footage showing the systematic looting of my house. Lisa, let's start with you. The host turned to my cousin. What made you decide to sell your cousin's belongings while he was having emergency surgery? Lisa's practiced smile wavered. This is all a huge misunderstanding. We were helping Daniel declutter. He's always been something of a hoarder, and we were worried about his mental health. By selling his belongings for a fraction of their value, the host displayed screenshots of the sales. This antique desk, for example, was sold for $200. We have documentation showing it was appraised at $50,000 last year. Family helps family, Aunt Margaret cut in smoothly. Daniel has always been difficult about sharing his good fortune. We were simply redistributing things to those who needed them more. Redistributing. I spoke for the first time. Is that what you call stealing my late father's watch collection? Or my mother's jewelry? Or perhaps you'd like to explain why you tried to access my corporate servers? Uncle George's face reddened. Now see here, boy. Actually, I cut him off. Let's show everyone exactly what was happening. I nodded to Tommy, who pressed a key on his laptop. The studio screens filled with high-definition security footage. Multiple angles showed my family members methodically breaking into my home office, attempting to crack my safe, and discussing their plans in detail. We need those patents. Uncle George's voice rang clearly through the studio speakers. Once we have them, we can sell them to his competitors. He'll have nothing left. Lisa jumped to her feet. You can't show that. We didn't agree to being recorded during a felony. I asked mildly. Interesting concern. The host leaned forward. Mr. Marcus, you seem remarkably calm about all this. Did you know this was going to happen? I've been aware of my family's intentions for some time, I said, pulling out a tablet. Would you like to see the evidence of their previous attempts to steal from me? Or perhaps their embezzlement from the family business? This interview is over. Their lawyer stood up, but Agent Torres stepped out from the wings. Actually, she said, your clients agreed to this appearance as part of their preliminary plea arrangement. Leaving now would violate those terms. The host's eyes lit up with journalistic hunger. We're joined by FBI Special Agent Torres. Agent, can you tell us about the broader investigation? What my family didn't realize, I interrupted gently, is that they were testing a prototype of my new security system. Every item they sold was tagged. Every room was monitored. Every transaction was tracked. Tommy projected new footage on the screens. GPS dots showing the movement of my stolen property across state lines, financial transactions flowing into frozen accounts, social media messages coordinating the theft. Which brings us to why I agreed to this interview. I said, turning to face the cameras directly. Today I'm announcing the launch of Family Guard Securities. A comprehensive system designed to protect families from exactly this type of betrayal. Lisa's face went pale. Aunt Margaret grabbed her lawyer's arm. Uncle George seemed to age 10 years in his seat. The system my family inadvertently demonstrated includes smart tags for valuable items, AI-powered security monitoring, and blockchain verification of ownership records. I gestured to the screens, now showing sleek product displays. Everything that caught them in the act is now available to protect other families. You planned this. Lisa's voice shook. Used us for marketing. No, Lisa, you planned this. I just made sure everyone would see the consequences. I turned back to the host. Would you like to see how the system alerts authorities to active theft? Tommy, please demonstrate. The next 5 minutes were a masterclass in product demonstration, with Tommy showing how the system had tracked and documented every aspect of my family's crime spree. The host asked intelligent questions about privacy concerns and legal implications, while Agent Torres confirmed the evidence's admissibility in court. Orders are already coming in, Tommy announced during a commercial break. The website's getting thousands of hits per minute. Agent Torres checked her phone. And 3 more of your relatives just agreed to testify about previous theft attempts. When we returned from break, my family's seats were empty. Their lawyer remained, looking resigned. It seems some of our guests have chosen to step away, the host said diplomatically. Mr. Marcus, any final thoughts? I held up my father's watch, the one Tommy had saved. My father built our family business on trust and integrity. When that trust was betrayed, he taught me to be prepared. This security system isn't just about protecting valuables. It's about preserving legacies. And your family? They chose their path. Now they can watch from their jail cells as I build something new. I smiled at the cameras, something that will help other families avoid what mine tried to do. The host wrapped up the segment as my phone exploded with notifications, stock prices soaring, pre-orders flooding in. Speaking requests from security conferences worldwide. Ready for the press conference? Tommy asked as we left the studio. I looked at the tablet showing our sales numbers climbing. First, let's stop by the prison. I want Lisa to see exactly how viral her little live stream has become. Agent Torres smiled. I'm sure they're already watching, along with about 20 million other people. I straightened my father's watch on my wrist. The hands pointed forward, just like my future. 1 year later, I stood at the podium in the New York Stock Exchange, Tommy beside me, waiting for the opening bell. The digital displays showed our company logo. Family Guard Securities. Protecting what matters most. Trading opens in 2 minutes. Tommy whispered, tablet in hand. Want to check the prison live stream first? I nodded. The federal penitentiary had approved a special viewing arrangement. My family would watch their final defeat live from their cells. The split screen showed them all. Lisa, her designer clothes replaced by prison orange. Uncle George significantly grayer after a year in custody. Aunt Margaret, her makeup-free face tight with anger. They were required to watch as part of their plea agreements. Family Guard Securities, the NYSE president announced, has revolutionized the personal security industry, growing from a viral story of family betrayal into a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. Today we welcome them to the trading floor. The screens above showed clips from that infamous live stream, now part of company lore. But they also showed something else. Footage of thousands of families protected by our system. Theft attempts thwarted, heirlooms preserved. In its first year, he continued, Family Guard has prevented over 10,000 documented theft attempts and recovered stolen property valued at more than $500 million. Tommy pulled up the prison feed again. Lisa was crying. Uncle George stared blankly ahead. Aunt Margaret had turned away from the screen. The bell rang. Trading is now open for FGS. The announcement echoed across the floor. I watched the numbers climb. Our IPO price had been set at $50 per share. Within minutes, it hit $75. Then $100. Then $150. My phone buzzed. A message from Agent Torres. Your family's watching. Lisa just requested another meeting. I texted back. Tell her to enjoy the show. Tommy showed me his tablet. Social media was exploding. #FamilyGuard IPO was trending worldwide. The video of our launch was playing on every financial network. Final numbers from the prison auction came in. He said quietly. Your family's seized assets covered less than 1% of what they stole. But our success covered the rest 1,000 times over. I finished. Have the restitution payments been processed? He nodded. Every person who bought something in their illegal sale has been fully refunded, plus compensation for cooperation with authorities. The stock hit $200 per share. I thought about my father's study, now restored to its former glory. Every item Tommy saved had become part of our company's origin story. The watch I wore, his watch, had become our logo. Sir, an aide approached. The SEC chairman wanted you to know. This is the most successful tech IPO of the year. Tommy checked his phone. Lisa's lawyer is trying to reach us. Something about a family reconciliation proposal. I looked up at the screens. Our stock was still climbing. The company I'd built from their betrayal was now worth more than they could have ever stolen. Send them our standard response. I said, all communications must go through the victim restitution program. The trading floor erupted in cheers as FGS crossed $250 per share. Reporters clamored for comments. Photographers captured the moment. But I was watching the prison feed one last time. Ready for your statement? Tommy asked. I straightened my father's watch and approached the forest of microphones. 1 year ago, my family tried to destroy everything I built. Today, that attempt has helped millions of families protect their legacies. Sometimes the best security system is built by those who know exactly how trust can be broken. I paused, knowing they were watching. To everyone who shared our story, who trusted our system, who helped us grow, thank you. And to those who think family ties give them the right to take what isn't theirs. I smiled directly into the cameras, knowing this clip would play in their cells. We're watching. The stock closed at $300 per share. That evening, as Tommy and I celebrated in my restored home office, he handed me an envelope. Last batch of prison letters from the family. Want to read them? I took my father's favorite fountain pen, the one they hadn't managed to steal, and wrote across the envelope, return to sender. Some family ties, once broken, shouldn't be repaired. But others, like my bond with Tommy, grow stronger through adversity. Ready for tomorrow? He asked. I looked around at my father's study, at the empire we'd built from betrayal, at the legacy now secured. Always, I said, checking my father's watch one last time. After all, someone has to guard the guards. The end.